Good day, everyone. First off, who here has built something, say in a project, you built feature A, and then the following day you built feature B, and by the time you are done building feature B, feature A doesn't work anymore. If you've been in that position, can I see your hands? Okay, great. I think it's a general problem. So, how can we build apps that are maintainable and last? Okay, first of all, myself. My name is Sadiq, and I'm the CTO at CB Interactives. Okay, let's keep that, please. At company events, I'm a first MC, and because I don't actually like to do it, but they make me do it. I'm on Twitter, I'm on GitHub as well. Huh? Okay. Okay, so in 2017, I made this tweet that the day I finally get to use TDD in a project, I would actually take myself out to a restaurant and then spend on myself. Okay, I've done one part of the tweet, which is to actually use TDD, but the second part, taking myself out, I'm broke. So if anybody wants to take me out, I'm down for it. Okay, so generally we'll be talking about what TDD is, why should we even do it, how to do it, and the components of it, and useful tips and tricks. Now, so what is TDD? According to Wikipedia, TDD is a software development process that relies on the repetition of a very short development cycle. Requirements are turned into very specific test cases, then the software is improved so that the test passes. So basically, what it means is we are letting tests drive the code we write. That is, before you write any feature, before you write any line of code, you're already writing a test for that particular line of code. Now, I like to say that when you write tests, you can refactor with peace of mind, and you can sleep with two eyes closed. Now, there are three kinds of developers, maybe more, anyways. But then, three that I know of. There are those who write tests before they write code, those who write tests after, those ones deceiving themselves, and the okay, I'm very sorry. You guys are the best. And then I will open the browser and test it myself. Who is a member of group 3? I will open. Okay, yeah. It's actually great. I'm admin of the group, so don't be shy about it. Okay, so the way it went for me was I used to be a member of group 3, and then I was thinking, how do I start writing tests? Because it seemed very difficult, very hard. So I moved to group 2. I started with the existing projects I had, started writing tests to cover the existing codes. And then eventually, when I wanted to start a new project, I moved on to group 1, writing tests first. So what do we stand to gain from doing TDD, from writing tests first? Number one is refactoring with peace of mind. Like, you can change things and still know that what was working yesterday is still working. And then it inspires confidence of code quality. You have this feeling that, yeah, my code is good to go. And then you can defend your code, maybe to QA, to your managers. And then, one very important thing is TDD helps you think about what you're building. Because you're actually thinking of a use case before you even start to develop whatever it is you're building. And then testing is automated. Instead of you having to open the browser, let's say you're creating an e-commerce site, for example, and then you want to see what happens at checkout. So your usual test flow will be, after writing a feature, you open the browser, and then you log in, you buy a product, and so on and so forth. You're actually wasting time doing that. But then with TDD, your tests are automated, just one command, and you have everything tested. Also, when you're doing TDD, you are very certain that your app, whatever you're building, meets the requirements. Let's say you've been given user stories, for example. If you're doing TDD, you can rest assured that whatever it's you're building, because you're actually turning requirements into test cases. So if you've been able to cover all requirements, you're certain that whatever you're building meets requirements. And then if you are one of the people who do CI and CD, testing makes it easier. Now, there's a starting flow to doing TDD. And there's a mantra to it: red, green, and then refactor. So red means fail, green pass, and then the gray is refactoring. Now, breaking out the mantra, the red part. First, the first thing you do is to write a test case, and then you know that when you're writing the test case, it fails definitely when you run it because there is no code yet to satisfy the test case. So it is expected that the first time you're running the test after writing it, it fails. Now that is the first step, and then the next thing is to write the code that actually makes the test pass. So you're writing the code as simply as possible. So it could be you even returning a constant or anything just to make the test green. Run the test again, you see that it passes. Then the next thing you do is to make your code better, to make it cleaner. Now, refactoring is just you making the code cleaner while still leaving the interface the way it is. So during your first iteration, writing the code that makes the test pass, there's a certain input and output. So your input and output should remain the same, but then the implementation is what varies when you're refactoring. So when you're making the code better and you run your test again, if it passes, then you know, okay, you've written, at least to an extent, a very good code. And then what you do next is to put it on repeat. Just do it over and over for every feature you want to build. I think it makes life easier. Now, the components of a test. It's supposed to be something here. There are three parts to a test. The first is the setup part, where, for example, let's say you're building a feature in a social media app, where when a user likes a post, they get probably $5. So you want to build a test to test that feature. So the first thing you do is we know there has to be a user in the first place, and then there has to be a post. So in that particular test case, the first thing you do is to actually create the user and then create the post. So that is the setup part, which is the first part, the first component of the test. So the next part is actually to perform the action, to act. Now the action we want to perform is to like the post. So we have our user created, we have the post created, then we perform the action, which is to act. And then afterwards, you make assertions. Okay, we've created the user, the post exists, and then the user likes the post. Afterwards, do they get the $5? Then you check whatever the user's balance is to see if they actually have the $5. So that is the assertion part. Just checking if what you want to test becomes successful. Now, useful tips and tricks when writing tests. Very obvious one. You need to write tests before every feature. I think everybody knows that now. And okay, another useful tip is that the first time you're writing the test, you're only writing enough code to make the test pass and nothing more. Don't start writing code for the next possible 2 or 3 test cases. Just write for the existing test enough code just to make it pass. Then another thing that could help you when writing tests is to treat every user story as a test case. Say, for example, in your list of user stories, you have something that says, as a user, I can log in. So that is something you can actually test or write test for. So in the user story, as a user, I can log in, I can create accounts, I can create a post, I can like a post. So those are valid user stories that you can actually write test cases for. So one thing else that helps is after every passing test, you actually commit whatever changes you've made. Of course, at this point, you should be using Git. Everybody knows that already. So when your test passes, okay, that was great. But you're taking us back to 1960. No problem. So after every passing test, you create a commit message. And then every test should run in isolation. And what this means is that every test in itself should be self-contained. So your variables in a particular test case shouldn't depend on values from another test. In the earlier example I used of a user getting credited when they like a post. So in that particular test case, that is where you would create the user, create the post in itself. So you shouldn't be relying on a user that has been created in a separate test. So your tests should be self-contained. They should be run in isolation. And then I know writing tests is hard, especially for me. And there's no time. Your manager is on your neck, your queue is on your neck. But then when you start to write it, it gets easier. And most importantly, I think everybody here uses Laravel. And Laravel comes with testing baked in. So just take advantage of it. Use it. Laravel comes by default with PHP unit. It makes testing a whole lot easier. Okay, Martin Fowler said something. I don't know if you care to read. I don't think. So, the biggest takeaway from this talk is just that this is how I sleep when I know my code is well tested. So, thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it.